Is there a copy and verify command in Ubuntu/Linux? I back up all my digital photos to a couple of places. I've been using the cp command, but given the personal value have started to wonder if there's a more reliable way. I'm no stranger to Linux, Bash, Perl, etc., so I could write something to copy and compare MD5 hashes, but I was wondering if something already exists, reinvention, wheels and whatnot. Most of my Googling for copy and verify vertical bar valid vertical bar check vertical bar hash vertical bar confirm turns up rsync. However, as far as I can tell, rsync only uses hashes to see if a file needs to be updated. It doesn't perform a hash comparison afterward. For this use, specifically, the files are binary and typically 810 MB. Any recommendations for utilities or guidance for DIY solutions would be greatly appreciated.
For man rsync, under C option. C, checksum, skip based on checksum, not mod time and size. Note that rsync always verifies that each transferred file was correctly reconstructed on the receiving side by checking a whole file checksum that is generated as the file is transferred, but that automatic after the transfer verification has nothing to do with this options before the transfer. Does this file need to be updated? Check.
Several years ago I had the same demands as you do. The solution I chose was to use ZFS via the ZFS Fuse driver on my storage server. My thinking was that my personal photos, scanned documents, and other similar files were things that I may access only occasionally, so it may be a very long time, say a year or more, before I notice that a file has been corrupted due to a drive error or the like. By that time, all of the backup copies I have may be this bit rotted version of the files. ZFS has a benefit over RAID 5 in that it can detect and repair errors in the data stored on the individual disks, even if the drives do not report a read error while reading the data. It will detect, via checksums, that one of the disks returned corrupted information, and will use the redundancy data to repair that disk. Because of the way the checksumming in ZFS is designed, I felt that I could rely on it to store infrequently used data for long periods of time. Every week I run a full scrub which goes through and rereads all the data and verifies checksums. ZFS Fuse has performed quite well for me over the last few years. In the distant past, for a client, I implemented a database system that stored checksum information on all files stored under a particular directory. I then had another script that would run periodically and check the file against the checksum stored in the database. With that we could quickly detect a corrupted file and restore from backups. We were basically implementing the same sorts of checks that ZFS does internally.
This URL, it extends Linux CP and MV with checksum verification.
I found this utility, Linux and Windows, that does just what you want, hashed copy plus hashed verification with log, this URL. The only downside being that it only exists as a GUI, no command line access. Since v1.5.0, a selected source folder can be hashed, then copied and reconstructed to a destination folder where the content is again hashed for verification. Since 1.5.5, selected file masks can be used, too. Doc, XLS etc.